Hey yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing y'all some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And I'm here today, as always, on a Monday to bring y'all some more individual player analysis. But hold the phone before we get into that. Shout out to you, to all of you. I love you so much. Thank you for coming by on a weekly basis. Showing your boy some love and support means the absolute world to me. I'm watching this channel grow day in and day out, and it's this natural organic growth. It is fucking beautiful, and I could never express to you how much it means to me. And if you're new, thank you for giving me a little bit of your time. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. And if at any point you do enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help your boy reach that goal of 200 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. But yes, who are we talking about today? This one's unfortunate, man. It's not unfortunate because of who we're talking about, but the situation. We're talking about Darrell Henderson, and the reason we're talking about Darrell Henderson in July of 2021 is because Cam Akers has torn his Achilles and is out for the season. So Henderson is logically the next man up on the Rams depth chart. So without further ado, let's get into the main event, the meat and potatoes, that is Darrell Henderson. Like I just mentioned, Cam Akers is out for the season. Darrell Henderson is the next man up. He's a former third-round pick, so they do have, the Rams that is, some form of draft capital invested into Darrell Henderson. Also, they let go of Malcolm Brown, who would have been his main competition in this backfield, other than Cam Akers, obviously, who is out for the season. Now, the depth chart for the Rams is Xavier Jones, undrafted free agent, Jake Funk, rookie RB, 7th round pick, and Calais Raymond, another 7th round pick. Now, I do expect the Rams to bring somebody else in, but I think Henderson will be the lead back, right? Because when you look at what's out there, they already said they're not going to be bringing back Todd Gurley, right? Le'Veon's out there, kind of scares me, not too much though, and Duke Johnson is out there as well. But even with that in mind, prior to this Akers injury, we did see a report come out that the Rams wanted to get Henderson more involved in the passing game. And if he's going to be the lead rusher, and he's going to be more involved in the passing game, then he should be at least somewhat valuable for fantasy football in 2021. So let's go ahead and get into what we're here to do, and that's to look at some potential outcomes for Darrell Henderson in 2021. But before we do that, we do have to quickly touch on what I expect from the Rams this season in terms of projected pass volume and rush volumes. I did slightly adjust this, not too much, but 646 pass attempts, 468 rush attempts. If you look at Darrell Henderson last season, he had 138 carries, 642 yards, and 5 touchdowns on the ground, 4.5 yards per attempt, and a 3.6% touchdown rate. And in terms of the receiving game for Darrell Henderson, he had 24 targets, 16 catches, 159 yards, and 1 touchdown receiving, a 66.7% catch rate, 6.6 yards per target, albeit on a very, very small sample size, a 4.2% touchdown rate. Keep that shit in mind because it will come back around later on. Now, like I mentioned, I do expect Darrell Henderson to be the lead back, but I do think they will bring in some form of competition, that being the Rams. So I think it would be safe to assume that Henderson handles about 45% of the team's total rushing workload on the low end. We're going to start off, like always, with a lower end projection for Darrell Henderson. Not the floor, but a lower end projection. Because the reason why I say 45% is because Stafford's not a mobile quarterback. He's not going to take away rush attempts. Robert Woods, on the other hand, is going to be involved in the rushing game. He's going to get us a few carries every game. Some of the other wide receivers, just by the nature of this offense, how McVay runs this offense. So 45% of the rushing workload would be 211 attempts for Darrell Henderson. Then, last season, he ran the ball at a 4.5 yards per attempt clip. Like we always say, with more volume generally comes less efficiency. So let's factor that in for Henderson here. 4.5 yards per attempt, about 90% of that, rounding up slightly, 4.1 yards per attempt. On 211 attempts will be 865 yards rushing. In terms of the touchdown rate, 3.6% last season. Let's be safe here, right? While I do see it within the range of outcomes that he maintains his touchdown rate, if not, even builds upon it, his offense should be better and more scoring opportunities, more scoring positions, more goal line opportunities with Matt Stafford at the helm. Let's play it safe. Again, lower end projections here, right? Looking at the fucking lower end here. Down low, the booty, right? 3% in terms of the touchdown rate. That's going to be 85% of where he was last season. On 211 attempts would be 6 rushing touchdowns. And then, whoa, got to look at the receiving game, right? Now, Matt Stafford has generally targeted the running back position relatively heavily. So let's assume there's a 15% target share going to the running back position, and Darrell Henderson handles 40% of the running back targets. That is going to be a 6% target share going way of Darrell Henderson, which is 39 targets. Now, last season, a 66.7% catch rate for Henderson, actually for his whole career, just on a very small sample size. And on a per game basis, he will be getting more targets. So let's assume some regression. 90% of 66.7% is going to be a 60% catch rate, give or take. Little round up there as well. But on 60% of his targets being caught, his catch rate at 60%, that is going to be 23 catches, if I'm correct here. 23 catches. Can't do that math in my head. Bear with me. Now, again, 6.6 yards per target for Darrell Henderson last season. Again, let's factor in some regression. More volume, less efficiency. We always say that. More volume, less efficiency. 90% of 6.6 yards per target, 5.94 yards per target. 39 targets is going to be 232 yards receiving. And then to play it safe, in terms of receiving touchdowns, very, very non-predictive stat, not a sticky stat. Let's just play it safe and cut that shit in half. Cut it in half. 2.1% touchdown rate on 39 targets will be 1 receiving touchdown. When you put that all together, it's 211 carries, 865 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground, 39 targets, 23 catches, 232 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. 163.2 half PPR points, 9.6 half PPR points per game. Good for the running back 32 last season in half PPR points per game based on all running backs that played 6 or more games. So Henderson, kind of closer to his floor, will be like a serviceable flex RB3 that you can like slot in on bye weeks, whatever it may be. But in order to justify or to identify whether or not Darrell Henderson will be worth the draft capital we have to spend, we have to look at a higher end projection as well for Henderson. So let's assume that he handles 50% of the team's total rushing workload, because I think someone's going to be brought in where he's not really the workhorse. They invested 3rd round capital in him. 19, he was barely involved, and then they drafted Cam Akers as well. So clearly they're not completely, the Rams that is, sold on Darrell Henderson for whatever reason. So let's assume 50% of the workload. That's 234 attempts. Now, 4.5 yards per attempt last season. We used 4.1 before. Meet in the middle. 4.3 yards per attempt. 234 attempts, 1,006 yards. And then let's use that same 3.6% touchdown rate that he held last season. Like I said, I do think that's in the range of outcomes with more total scoring opportunities with Matt Stafford at the helm. That is going to be 8 touchdowns rushing. And now back, whoa, fucking bullet from Matt Stafford to the receiving game. Let's assume that same 15% target share goes to the running back position, but Henderson is the main benefactor, handling 55 Wally Zerbiak percent of the running back targets. That's an 8% target share. That is going to be 52 targets. He held a 66.7% catch rate. We used 60% before. Let's meet a little closer to the middle at 64%. That is going to be 32 catches, if I'm correct. Again, fuck. 33 catches. Damn it, my math was just off. 33 catches for Darrell Henderson. And again, more volume, a little less efficiency, but he's regressing to the mean a little bit more here in these from the lower end projections to what his career average has been. Let's assume his yards per target is at 6.3 from 6.6 last season. On those 52 targets will be 328 yards receiving. And then again, assuming that he's a little closer to his touchdown rate of last season. We used 2.1 before. Last season he was at 4.2. Let's just use 3%. That is going to be 2 receiving touchdowns. And when you take that and you come in, no, I'm not even going to go there. But you put all that together, right? You take the Darrell Henderson energy and you put that together, that is going to be 234 carries, 1,006 yards, and 8 touchdowns on the ground, 52 targets, 33 catches, 328 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Over 1,300 total yards, just under 16 touches a game, and 10 total touchdowns. Good for 209.9 half PPR points or 12.3 half PPR points per game. Tied for the running back 20 last season in half PPR points per game based on all running backs that played 6 or more games. So now it's time to ask that never-ending question that we always ask. What does all this shit mean for fantasy football, right? Well, in order to answer that question, a few other questions need to be answered. Who is brought in for competition, and where is Darrell Henderson being drafted, right? Because if they bring in Le'Veon Bell, a guy that they'll probably have to pay a little more than just any other guy off the street, then the workload will probably be a little closer to the low end, right? Where he'll probably be involved, But if it's like just any Joe Schmo, and Darrell Henderson is handling, a 55, 60% opportunity share in this offense, then yeah, he's going to be worth maybe a 4th, 5th round pick. I expect him to go somewhere between the 4th and 6th round, but it's really going to depend on what happens and what we see with who they bring in and what we see in training camp and all that good stuff. But if he's getting drafted in the 4th round, I'm honestly thinking that's a little too spicy for me. But the 5th, 6th round as my running back 3, as my running back 4, in a strategy where I load up with 2 running backs early and get a couple wide receivers or a tight end, I do not hate Henderson. I'd probably put him somewhere, depending on what happens, between the tiers of Myles Gaskin and Mike Davis and like the Kareem Hunt, ETN, and Chase Edmonds tier, like right around that area. But he has a lot of upside, right? But for whatever reason, the Rams just haven't shown that they really trust Henderson because they drafted Cam Akers last season. But obviously Cam Akers gone. We'll see what happens, or he's out for this season. We'll see what happens, but I'm a little nervous about Henderson, but I think there's a lot of upside. 5th, 6th round, I'm okay with it. 4th round, a little too hot, like the ADP series. Little too hot for me. But that's what I got for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think of Henderson? Where do you think he'll end up being drafted? Where would you draft him? What do you any other videos you guys would like to see? Anything of that nature? Anyone you want to hear me talk about? Any specific topics? Things of that nature. I'd really love to get some feedback from y'all. Drop a like, leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Help me, help my boy, help us reach our goal of 200 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would really appreciate that, y'all. But that's it. That's all there is. I'm done. Me, my boy, we are out for today. Thank you for coming by. I will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you. Love you. Peace.